Hey vinyl community, this is Chris. I'm here to do, this is an addendum to the experimental music tag. So rather than this being a vinyl tag, this will all be CDs, and rather than it being a general tag for experimental music, it will be comprised of items off the Nurse with Wound list. So it'll be contained within that list. So starting off, you might hear in the background, this is the Hafler Trio. So this is, which one is that? Field recordings. Could be voice, but I'm calling it, using it for the field recordings. I'll show that in a moment, but just so you can get a sample of that. And then first one is improvised music. So Evan Parker and Paul Lighton were two of the people that were on that list. So I have selected this title here, Elsie Joe, which was based on an acronym or the abbreviation of the, I guess, London Jazz Composers Orchestra, but they couldn't remember what order the letters went in, so they came up with this LCJO, LCJO, London Composers Jazz Orchestra. So you can see all the players on there besides Evan Parker and Paul Lighton. Irene Schweitzer on piano, Barry Guy. So I'm going to put that on now in place of the Hafler Trio. And then we will continue with number 3 on the list. Or are we on number 2? We're on number 2. All right, so this is supposedly improvised music in the background. Okay. Next up, number 2 is moog. So for that, I have selected Klaus Schulze and Peter Namlook, The Dark Side of the Moog. This was a this is volume 7. This is I think they put out 11 of these things, and you know, Klaus Schulze wasn't on the list directly, but Tangerine Dream was one of the artists on the Nurse with Wound list, and Klaus Schulze was drummer on their first album, Electronic Meditations, so whatever it was called. So this is the original fax release of this series. This is the subtitle of, well, it's Dark Side of the Moog series. Observed by Klaus is the subtitle. So they had sort of takeoffs or play on words with Pink Floyd titles for that series. And as I mentioned, number 3, field recordings, Hafler Trio, Bang, and Open Letter. So Addie Newton was a member. I think this is, oops. There's the booklet. So field recording, experimental music. This was the CD. Started off with a track that had some like public service announcements going on in the background that they'd recorded. All right, number 4 is a drone. So I have selected from the list Third Ear Band, Live Ghosts, and the particular track I picked was Ghetto Raga, live recording, since it's a live CD, but on the CD itself it's called Ghetto Raga, but when you listen to the track they end up, after it concludes, and then they introduce it as some English location raga. I think I wrote it down, but Hyde Park Raga is what they introduced it to the audience as. So, Third Ear Band. And spoken word. So, Robert Ashley. Automatic writing. So one track in particular, not a lot of spoken word, but it does, or he likes to use a phrase, so she was a visitor. She was a visitor. She was a visitor. Robert Ashley. Spoken word. Okay, processed voices or instruments. I have selected throbbing gristle from the list. So this is Throbbing Gristle Live. It was a 4-volume set that they put out. 1 through 4, each one sort of focuses on different years. Volume 1 is 76 to 78, Volume 2 is 78 to 79, Volume 3, 77 to 78, and Volume 4, 76 to 78. Well, I got those all backwards. And they make up a set so that when you put them together, you get the logo there. That Thunderbolt type thing. So, Throbbing Gristle. Processed voice and or instrument. And number 7, somebody from the Nurse with Wound list, even though all these are, but this one I'm not picking for any particular thing other than he was on the list. Ron Geeson, English composer. This sounds like it was, it's a 2 CD set called Biting the Hand, but it sounds like it was a concert or a radio transmission that they just put on here. And so he's composer, pianist, so there's a lot of keyboards in here, some spoken word bits, comedy type stuff. Ron Geeson, Biting the Hand. He also worked with Pink Floyd on From the Body, I think, was an early one. And then number 8, band uses a toy instrument. So I've selected Nurse with Wound. Chance Meeting. There's the booklet, there's the Nurse with Wound list in a small format. So the one of the tracks, blank, chance meeting on a dissecting table of a sewing machine and an umbrella. So on one track they use a cap gun, I think. So, Nurse with Wound. I think this is their first album. $1984 maybe. That I'm just taking a wild guess. This was included with it. Show some other releases available. And some more releases from the World Serpent distribution. Cover artwork, or the CD artwork, back cover, different artwork there. Nurse with Wound, finishing up their own list. So there you have it, VC. Thanks for this experimental music tag addendum. See y'all later.